All right, we're recording. I'm with John the Tank Sherman. How are you, sir?
I'm good. How are y'all?
I'm doing well. Doing well. How's Texas? You in Houston, right?
I lost you.
Yeah.
Well, hold on a second. I'm in Houston, but I'm trying to find out where'd you go?
Houston, we have a problem.
Yeah, there we go. There we go.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right.
Yeah,
cool.
I'm in Houston.
Yeah. How's it out there?
Hot.
Yeah. How about
Yeah.
as far as, because I think you guys are pretty laid back like we are in Florida as far as COVID and all that.
Yeah, things are turning up here.
Yeah.
Yeah, for the most part, we were locked down for a while, but we opened up before everybody else.
Mm-hmm.
But things are really starting to heat up. So we don't really have an idea of how it's going to go from here on out.
Yeah. Yeah. It's same here. There's been some cases increasing and stuff in the schools and stuff. So nobody really knows what's going to happen. So, yeah.
Some of the shows as well, I guess. A lot of the athletes that are competing in our shows are getting COVID. A hell of a lot of athletes.
Really?
Yeah. We've seen a lot. Yeah, quite a lot of athletes. It's crazy, really.
Okay.
We should go away, man.
Yeah, I'm fortunate. I haven't had any issues.
Mm.
And I don't know anybody that's had any issues, but that's today. So tomorrow's a different thing.
Yeah. So just to kind of give everybody a little biography on you, John, those that don't know you, you started bodybuilding in the late 80s and kind of got your pro card in the 90s. Is that correct?
Well, yeah, I started bodybuilding when I was 16, actually.
Okay.
And I turned pro in 92 at the Nationals.
Okay. That was in Atlanta, right?
Yeah, correct.
Okay. Yeah, I saw that. And before did you turn pro when you were a deputy sheriff?
Yeah, I did. Yeah,
Okay.
I was.
So you're another Ronnie Coleman, man.
Yeah, we were working in law enforcement around the same time. Actually, we were real good friends at the time.
Mm-hmm.
I was in law enforcement for 10 years.
Yeah.
And I left that to go actually work in at Dell Computers.
Really?
In Austin. And I actually had a daughter around the same time, so I had to move back to Houston. And then from that point on, I was just kind of doing my own thing as far as training and still competing here and there.
Mm-hmm.
But I had a pretty good training business at the time.
Yeah. Now I'm a deputy sheriff too, so that's why I'm going to ask a couple questions about it.
Yeah.
You did, what made you get out of it?
Man, to be honest, I was around the time when I turned pro, I was traveling a lot because we had a lot of guest appearances.
Mm-hmm.
And the funny thing is, I had been competing the whole time I was a police officer,
mm-hmm.
but I never really said anything. My friends knew, but the brass didn't know.
Okay, that was going to be my next question, how they felt about it. Yeah,
the brass didn't know, and at the time when they did find out, they didn't really care. But the higher up I got in our sport, they told me I had to make a decision, and it was based on the fact that I traveled so much. I had to make a decision on being a police officer or being a bodybuilder.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I didn't think that was fair because we had pro baseball players, we had pro football players, all that worked at our department too. So I made the choice to, hey, man, this was my lifelong dream. Bodybuilding was my lifelong dream. So I chose to go it alone.
Mhm.
And
Yeah, I think.
but I miss my friends. Everybody asked me, do I miss the job? Nah, not even a little.
Mhm.
I miss my friends, but
Yeah,
I don't miss the job.
yeah, that's what most people say. They miss the people, but not the.
Yeah.
Yeah, especially now today. I mean, I'm sure you see all the chaos and everything going
Oh
on.
man, it's terrible.
Yeah.
And when I do second guess, when I did second guess my decision, things like that are happening today would pop up, and I was like, okay, yeah, I did the right thing.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Now, what year did you? Now, you said you left. So you left Harris County in '99, and then you went from there to Dell.
Yeah, actually, I left in '99, and I came back for 1 year
Okay.
to the sheriff's department. And
Oh,
well, actually, I started the sheriff's department in '88 when
okay.
I was 18 years old.
Okay.
And I came back 1 year, and this story is kind of funny. We opened a gym at the sheriff's department. It was a state-of-the-art facility,
Mhm.
and my pictures were all around the top of the wall
Mhm.
in that gym. And a position came open to run the gym, and a friend of mine was currently running that position, and she decided she was going to go work at DEA,
Mhm.
and position was mine if I wanted it. So when I decided to take it, the department decided to open it up to a department-wide interview,
Mhm.
or open it up for everybody to get. So I was front runner for the position, but the main question they asked me was, did I want to be on the sheriff's department SWAT team? It was brand new,
Mhm.
and I didn't. I
Mhm.
mean, as weird as that sounds, I mean, because that's a lot of people's dreams, and at one time it was mine.
Mhm.
I
It's
didn't want to
tough.
do it.
It's
Yeah,
tough. Yeah.
yeah, I
It's
didn't
not
want to
easy.
do it. Yeah, I didn't want to do it, and they asked me again, are you sure? And I was like, yeah, I don't want to do it. And when I turned that position down, um, they gave it to somebody else.
Mhm.
So that was another underlying factor in me deciding that it wasn't for me.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah. And what did you weigh at this point? Because you were a pro, so.
When I turned pro, man, I was 185 pounds.
Oh wow.
And then when I during the time I did compete, I got up to 210.
Yeah.
And but I just love the sport,
Mhm.
and I was really good at it. So
Yeah.
it was an easy decision for me.
Yeah. The reason why I'm asking is I can't imagine you walking into a computer place at the size you were, telling them you want a computer job.
Oh no, yeah, I was in business sales for Dell.
Yeah.
Yeah, man, that was a great job. I can't lie. It was awesome.
Mhm. Mhm.
Learned a lot.
Yeah. Then you I'm sorry, Ian, got anything you want to say?
Yeah. How tall are you, Joe?
I'm 5'5".
So like 210 at 5'5", that's packing some muscle, man.
Yeah, yeah, I was pretty stout. Pretty stout.
Hmm.
When did you retire? What year?
Actually, I stopped competing about 6, 7 years ago.
All right, so you were competing for a long time then.
Yeah, and I really think I sometimes, and I'm just gonna be honest, man. Sometimes we go a little bit past our prime on when we should step away, and because I still was pretty good. I just loved it, but in hindsight, I think I probably stayed maybe 5 years too long.
Hmm.
But I didn't have I loved it, but I didn't have the drive that I had when I was starting up.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
Yeah.
I didn't last as long as you. I turned pro when I was 20, and I'd retired by the time I was 29.
Yeah. Yeah.
I was
Yeah.
1998 was my last show, and I think my first pro show was 93. So
Wow.
yeah, I had basically 5 years as a pro, and I was done with it. I
Yeah.
was mentally burnt out. So respect to you for doing it that long, man.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you.
Mhm. Yeah, you look great, man. How old are you?
I'm 54 now.
Oh man, you look awesome. Yeah, you look
Thanks.
great. Yeah, I noticed in your shows that you took some breaks in between But it looked like 94 was your best year. Would you agree? That
Yeah,
looks
it
like
could have been.
that looks like when you did your best, you got a lot of second and third places.
Yeah,
And then you placed in the Olympia.
yeah. I did the Olympia twice.
Yeah.
But during the time when I did the Olympia, man, we had to compete a whole bunch of times. It wasn't, I was that was my career. So I had to compete. So in order to make money, I had to compete.
Mm-hmm.
So by the time I got to Olympia, I had already done 5 shows in that year. So by the time you get to the Olympia, man, I was burned out.
Yeah.
So, but I still looked at it as, hey, I was still one of the best in the world at the time.
Mm-hmm.
So I had nothing to hang my head down about.
Yeah. Did you ever get contacted by Vince McMahon during your time with his bodybuilding stuff that he was doing?
No.
Yeah.
No. I was friends with Gary Stridham at the time, but no, I didn't get contacted.
Okay. How about Joe Weider? Were you?
Yeah, I was a Weider athlete.
Oh, you were? Okay, you were a Weider.
Yeah.
Okay. How
I
long
was
were
a
you with
Weider
Joe?
athlete. I was with Metrics, and I was also with Muscle Tech.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. It seems like you guys did a lot more guest posing too back then.
Yeah, that was part of your contract.
Mm-hmm.
So when I was with Weider, I had to do 10 guest appearances a year.
Mm-hmm.
But we were on salary too, so it worked out.
Yeah.
And I got to go a lot of cool places that I wouldn't have been able to go on my own.
Mm-hmm.
So it was awesome.
Yeah, that's where all your traveling came in.
Yeah.
Yeah. What was your favorite country?
Man, anywhere in Europe was awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah. See, when I competed, we actually had to do the European tour, which consisted of 8 shows in 1 month.
Mm-hmm.
So you had 2 shows every weekend for a whole month.
Wow.
And that was rough. So
Yeah.
just imagine I had 5 shows prior to the Olympia, then the Olympia, and then 8 more shows.
Mm-hmm.
And I did that 2 years in a row.
Mm-hmm.
So needless to say, man, I burned myself out pretty good.
I bet.
Yeah.
I bet.
I remember doing that in '95, the year I competed in the Olympia. We did, I did like 3 shows before the Olympia. Then I did the Olympia, and then we had to go. I did the Spanish Grand Prix on a Friday, I believe, German Grand Prix on a Saturday, and the English Grand Prix on a Sunday. 3 shows in 3 days, and that was
it was wild, man. It was a wild ride. I loved it though.
Yeah, no, me too.
Yeah.
They don't do that anymore, do they?
No. So when I talk to the guys today that compete, and they talk about maybe 1 or 2 shows a year, I find that comical.
I do as well.
Yeah.
The crazy thing is, I think we got better from show to show, don't you?
Exactly.
Yeah.
I learned what worked with my body. I knew my body, so I didn't need coaches. That we didn't have the coaches or all that the prep coach stuff.
There was no coaches back then.
Yeah, you learned your body. So with all those shows, if I didn't learn my body, I was a complete idiot.
Yeah.
So yeah, we didn't have coaches to rely on and any of that crap.
What are your feelings about how the sport's changed, John? Do you think it's changed for the better, for the worse? Do you like?
Man, honestly,
yeah.
I think the athletes are good. Don't get me wrong. It's a lot of great athletes out there, but when we competed we were on stage. I'll give you an example. The Night of Champions, we were on stage for at least, and it was just one division.
Yeah.
There was no 212s or all that. It was one division, and we were on stage for an hour and a half to 2 hours.
Yep, I remember.
We were all getting compared to. We all got compared to the winner. All the every show was. Hold on 1 second. Are y'all there? Yeah,
yep.
Every show was hard, and but now these guys, man, you see them losing their composure after being on stage for 15 minutes, being compared, and I'm like, these guys are soft. They'd have never made it in our era. They'd have never made it. you know. So, yeah, I think of course, I'm going to think our era was better, but yeah, I mean, no offense to the athletes now, but I just think our era was better.
I think I agree with you. I think that the talent pool is huge, and there's some incredible athletes out there.
Yeah.
And I think the other divisions that like the men's physique, bikini, I don't see it as a detriment. I see it as like an entry level to bodybuilding. You know, it
Exactly.
brings more athletes into the sport. But I
Right.
agree with you. I mean, I do a lot of like I'm the head judge when we do the PCA shows. And I compare everyone. I move them around, and I work the athletes like hell on stage. And
Right.
a lot of the time, people will complain about it, and I'm like, you should be prepared for that. You should be posing so much that the day of the show is easy, and you should
Exactly.
want to
So and you're absolutely right. So when I pose guys now, when guys come to pose with me now, man, I work them like I got worked, and I tell them the same thing you just said. When practice is hard, the show, it should be a joke.
Exactly.
I mean, yeah. So the guys that I work with, they're conditioned and they're ready, but for the most part, no. I had judge here in Texas, and I'm the vice chairman of NPC in Texas, and it's a different monster right now.
Yeah, it is. I know when we were competing, I mean, I used to look at obviously people like Flex, Kevin, Chris Cormier, and you'd watch those guys go through the posing. I mean, they'd hold each pose for like 20, 30 seconds, and they do it every day. And I think that's the thing we kind of emulated, and the thing we looked up to. And I think that's gone from the sport. I really do, you know.
Right.
Presentation in general. I mean, I think classic bodybuilding has brought a lot of the posing finesse back. But up until that, the posing was terrible, I thought. You know, they didn't do proper posing routines like we did.
Yeah. Yeah. The most, like, now the guys pretty much guest pose.
Yeah.
They don't really put any work into their routines or into the art of the sport.
I think that's a shame though, don't you?
Yeah. Yeah. Because to me, it's an art. And
I agree.
And you know, if you don't display yourself in the best possible light, I don't think you've done a complete job.
I agree. Yeah, I agree.
Well, let me ask you this, John, and Ian, you can answer this too. Today, you win a pro show, you qualify for the Olympia. So basically, you're seeing bodybuilders just do one show and then go to the Olympia. Pretty much correct. When you guys competed, you guys did a bunch of shows, 10 shows a year or whatever. It seems like more bodybuilders today are getting injured and unfortunately dying than they did back when you guys were competing. Am I wrong? And if so, why is that?
Yeah, there are more guys that are, unfortunately passing away.
You think it's the coaching now that?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely. It's definitely the coaching, man. I mean, because again, guys don't learn their own bodies. They're relying on somebody to tell them, everything, tell them what to do. And they're just like robots. And that's not good.
No.
Because these coaches don't really have any skin in the game. All they're worried about is their reputations. They're not really concerned with the athlete being injured or getting sick or anything like that. Yeah, they're just worried about their reputation so they can get the next client.
Yeah. The reason why I mentioned that is there's just several of the more popular podcasts that seems to be a big subject right now. They're talking about these coaches. There's a couple of them, I won't name who they are, that are really injuring a lot of people and stuff. And,
and that's unfortunate.
I saw an interview or a statement by Sean Ray yesterday that my brother told me about, referring to that. I don't know if you've seen it.
Yeah, I saw it.
Yeah, but
he's
right.
He's absolutely right.
He's right.
He was one of the first people that brought this up years and years and years ago, and everybody just kind of blew him off. But now, I mean, they're paying attention, and it's sad because we're losing a lot of great athletes male and female. And hopefully something will get done about it.
Yeah. Do you see regulations coming in place? I hate to
And I
say
hope so.
I hate to say the T word, but
I hope
the
so.
testing, you know, but
Yeah, I hope so. And I hope the athletes. I mean, because yeah, we can blame the coaches, but at the same time, the athlete has to hold themselves accountable too. And I hope these guys kind of start waking up and realizing that the information that these guys are giving you, they can find on the internet. You get what I'm saying? So they're really not all that great. And it's kind of like Sean said, they don't have any they're not doctors, they're not PhDs, they're not any of these things. So you're just taking information that this guy got off the internet, and yeah, maybe it worked this time, but who's to say what damage that did long term?
oh yeah. So, well, you remember, well, you know, Rich Piana. You remember when he was popular, he posted his cycle on the site and there was guys like following it. I'm like, are you stupid? I mean, the guy's dead, you know, he's dead for a reason.
Right.
You know, I shake my head. I'm like, you guys just don't get it.
I think the main thing to me is, I don't think it's anything, or the main thing, from my experiences, it's diuretics and the misuse of them. You know, like, I mean, a lot of coaches that I've seen prep people, they don't get their athletes lean enough. They don't do a good enough background and lead up to the show. And therefore they think that all the magic can be done a week to 10 days out with a load of diuretics. And they don't understand how lethal diuretics can be. You know,
I agree. I agree.
I nearly died in my pro debut from using a very mild diuretic under the advice of someone. And I think the advice was good advice for them, but it wasn't good advice for me. Everybody's body's different, you know? And
I totally agree.
And I think that's the biggest danger. And what I see with the coaches nowadays, I never had a coach. I asked people's opinion, but I did everything myself, just like you, John. But I think a lot of these athletes hiring coaches almost as if they don't place well, they can blame it on the coach type of thing.
There you go.
I don't know if that's right or wrong.
No, that's spot on. That's spot on. And the other thing that I never agreed with was this peak week thing that you're kind of referring to, is that everybody thinks that final week you're going to see a miracle. No, if you're not ready 2 weeks out, you're not going to be ready that last week. You know, them popping some diuretics in you is not going to change anything.
Well said, man. Well said. Yeah, I agree. 100%.
Yeah. It goes back to that saying where you look better the day after the show for some reason, you know?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. And that happens more times than not. Yeah.
Yeah. Hey, John, you have your own gym over there, or are you training somewhere?
Yeah, I have my own training studio.
Okay.
We actually opened it up during in September during the lockdown.
Oh wow.
And we're doing really well. So it's just set up for it's personal training. Regular folks, you know, housewives, doctors, lawyers, you name it. I don't really deal with a lot of athletes because athletes don't really understand today that if you're going to have a trainer, you need that trainer during the off season, as well as during pre-contest, because off season is where you make your progress. And so these guys come to you during they think they can do it all on their own in the off season, and they come to you pre-contest and they're terrible. So the only thing you can do is help them, you know, give them some nutritional advice, you know, train them for the shows. But again, like I said, the work is done in your off season. And if you're not training correctly for that, you're just spinning your wheels.
Yeah, I agree. 100%.
I got to pull this picture up here of you. You guys see this?
Oh yeah, I remember that picture well.
What? How big is your waist here, John?
At that time it was 28.
Wow, that looks like it's about 24.
Yeah,
that is crazy. What do you weigh?
Yeah, that's when I was actually. That's the USA in '92, I think. Yeah, '92, and I competed against Flex.
Wow.
I lost to him according to the judges, you know how that goes. I lost him by 1 point.
Yeah. Well, now if you think if today you're pretty sure you would have took over the 212.
Nah, man. I mean, these guys are good. I mean, there's a guy right here in Dallas, Keon, that reminds me of myself.
Mhm.
That dude's amazing.
Yeah, Keon's good.
Yeah, he's really good. So I mean, I think I'd have done really well, but I'm not going to say I would have took it over.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now you've got your own show too, right?
I have two.
You have two.
I have
Okay.
the Houston Tournament of Champions.
Okay.
That's normally in April, and then I have Muscle Beach that's in October.
Okay. So that's coming up.
Yeah.
Now they both in Houston?
5.5 weeks.
They're both in Houston?
One's in Galveston, which is right outside of Houston, and
Okay.
the other one is in Houston. Yeah.
Okay. Cool.
So I keep myself pretty busy.
Yeah, it sounds like it.
Yeah.
Sounds like you got a lot going on.
Yeah.
Now you keep in contact with Ronnie? You guys talk a lot or collaborate?
Yeah. Well, we don't talk as much as we used to. I still judge his show every year.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm the head judge for his show every year.
Mhm.
And but no, he's still in good spirits,
Mhm.
considering everything, you know.
Yeah. Yeah. He posted a clip the other day. He was bowling or something like that.
Yeah. I saw that. That was funny.
Yeah. He was actually
That
doing
was
pretty
funny.
good. So
Yeah.
yeah, it's good to see him out and about again, man. Yeah.
Man, nothing. Ronnie is a different monster, man, and nothing's gonna stop that guy
Mhm.
from doing anything he wants to do.
Yeah.
So, and I admire him. I respect him. Man, he's just an awesome dude altogether.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Even outside of the bodybuilding, he's a great guy, man.
Yeah.
He's funny.
Yeah. I interviewed Linda Murray not long ago, and she had nothing but great things to say about him. So
Yeah.
yeah, they were good friends.
Here's a story. Right, nobody knows. When I had stopped competing for a while, and I ran into Ronnie, and Ronnie asked me why I wasn't competing, and he says, "Well, man, if you compete again, I'll sponsor you." And I'm like, "What?" And it was, I think it was one of the Night of Champions or something like. No, it was one. It was I forgot what show it was, but Ronnie paid for my hotel room and all that stuff, dude. He didn't have to do that. I didn't ask him to do it.
Mm-hmm.
But again, like I said, we were police officers back in the 90s, and we were
Right.
really good friends at the time.
Mm-hmm.
And man, I never forgot that, and for that I'm forever grateful to him. Whatever he ever needs, I'm there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I hear nothing but great stories about him. Now you competed with Ron Love too. He was a cop.
Yeah. I just saw Ron a couple of months ago.
Yeah.
I judged John Sherman's show in Michigan,
mm-hmm.
and Ron was there.
Yeah.
Ron's still big, man.
Ron's a great guy, man. I had him on.
He's hilarious.
Yeah, he's coming back on the show again. I just started. He'll text me like once a week, man. He'll say, "Hey, Big J, how you doing, man?" Because we talk a lot of cop stuff and stuff. So he's a good guy. I like him.
Yeah, Ron. The last time when I did see Ron, I had to get on Ron because the last European tour we did, I was hanging with Ron, JJ Marsh, and I forgot who else, but because they weren't doing really well in the tour,
mm-hmm.
and I wasn't either. I mean, the tour was pretty much based on how you placed in Olympia.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
They just in the middle of the night, man, they took off and came back to the States and left me there, man. And I never forgot that. So when I saw Ron, I hadn't seen Ron since that happened. And when I saw Ron, I reminded him, he just fell out laughing, man, because he remembered.
Uh-huh. I could see him doing that too.
Yeah, in the middle of the night, man, the taxi blew the horn. I look out the window and there's Ron giving me the peace sign. I'm like, oh, dude.
What year was that?
Yeah.
That was 94.
Okay.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
There was some talk here a little while ago. Him and Robbie Robinson were trash talking each other about getting back on stage.
Yeah.
They're about going at it.
When I did see Ron said he was gonna get the special invite to the Olympics.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was funny.
Yeah. Robbie looks good though. He's been posting pictures
Yeah.
and stuff. Yeah, he looks
Yeah.
really good.
Yeah.
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 So-
Hopefully, you know, as I get older, I can still look that good too.
Yeah.
That's the goal.
Yeah, that's everybody's goal.
Yeah.
So
Do you keep in touch with all the guys from our era, John?
A few. Every now and then I see Flex. But for the most part, Ronnie is the one I see the most.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
who gave you the tank name?
Lonnie Teeper. Lonnie Teeper. At first, he called me the Texas Tornado, and then the next thing I know, he was calling me the Tank, and I'm like, okay, and it stuck.
Yeah, the Sherman tank. That makes sense.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So, what do you? We'll end it here. I know you got a lot going on. What do you miss the most? Do you miss anything?
Man, I miss camaraderie.
Yeah.
I mean, it was, you know, here's the difference that I see is when we competed, you know, we cheered for each other. I mean, we knew everybody busted their asses, man.
Yeah.
So, you know, when we were on stage and the other guys were getting compared, and even if you weren't in the top 5, you know, there wasn't any saltiness. You know, we were fans. All of us were fans of the sport. So we respected each other. We didn't trash talk each other. We didn't do any of that stuff. And it was a good time. You know, we brought the best out of each other, I feel. You know, I turned pro basically off a challenge from Chris Cormier. Chris Cormier was a friend of my training partner. And he was right. When I competed, I just as an amateur, I was just competing to compete, man, to have fun. I really wasn't thinking about being a pro or nothing like that. And Chris told my training partner, if I really buckle down and train, I could turn pro. Well, that motivated me, man. For a second, it pissed me off because I thought I was training hard. But then I did, after I considered what he said, I did take my training to another level. And that next year, I did turn pro. So, yeah, we motivated each other. Yeah. And I do see Chris all the time, too. Yeah, see Chris a lot.
Yeah. So you live out there with you in that area?
No, he's from Beaumont, but he actually just came here to Houston not long ago, maybe a month or so ago, to train Patrick Moore.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't think, did Patrick qualify this year?
Yes.
Oh, he did qualify.
He won the Cal.
Oh, that's right. That's right. Okay. I know they were giving Ian a bunch of crap because he went and competed over there. He just did the Texas show too, right?
He just did the Texas Pro.
Yeah, he just
Kuklo.
He beat Kuklo. Yeah. So cool, man. Ian, you got anything else?
Some great athletes, man. I mean, these guys are awesome, but I think they would have melted away like ice cream on stage if they had to compete against us during our time.
Yeah. Well, we'll see how the Arnold goes. They got some good guys coming to the Arnold.
Yes, that's always a treat. I'm still a avid bodybuilding fan, man. You know, that's never gonna go away.
Yeah. Who's your favorite?
Right now?
Sorry, Ian.
Let's see, in the open division. Man, it's quite a few guys. I know in the 212 I can say Keon is, but in the open division, man, Cedric McMillan is my favorite. I mean, when Phil was competing, he was my favorite. Man, it's too many to name.
Yeah. Cedric's just coming off that hand injury. You think he's gonna do all right?
Yeah, I think he's gonna do well, man. Cedric has a great body and he takes his posing seriously. So I love watching that guy get on stage and wow the crowd. Because he really gets into it. He becomes a different person when he gets on stage. Yeah. And I love that.
Yeah, he's a military guy too. Everybody loves him.
Yeah, very regimented, very structured. I respect that.
Yeah. Sorry, Ian, go ahead.
I forgot what I'm gonna say then. Straight out of my head. No, I agree with you. Cedric McMillan, I think he's incredible.
Yeah.
If he can really dial his conditioning in, I think he'll be very hard to beat. By anyone.
That's it. Yeah. Exactly. If he gets his conditioning right, man, I don't see anybody beating him.
Mhm.
I agree. Why didn't he come in harder, don't you think? From what I've seen in the past.
Man, I can't put my finger on it. I really can't. I don't know. I mean, so when I competed, I did work with a few nutritionists, but I never had a coach. And maybe that's what he needs, is just to get with somebody on his nutrition.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that's what Ramy had to do. He needed somebody to dial him in. So
Yeah.
so we'll see how he does this year.
Yeah.
All right. Well, Mr. Sherman, man, I appreciate it taking the time out and coming on here with us. So
thank you for reaching out to me and having me on. It's been a pleasure.
Yeah, we'll have to do it again sometime.
Sure, we're sure.
Awesome. All right.
Well, after all this time, John.
What's that?
Good talking to you after all this time.
You too, Ian.
Way too long, man.
Yeah, it has.
All righty, sir. You have a good evening.
All right, y'all take care.
Okay.
Later, John. Bye-bye.
Bye.